Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news in review for October 27th, 2024. There's a lot of stuff crammed into this week. There's another event that we just had, MCM event that went on in London. But there's Transformers stuff. There's always Transformers stuff. I think the third-party companies, the Masterpiece companies, are still holding out for next week. We got some Mayx stuff. What's the difference between Mayx and Mezco? I hear it's like $20. And then there is some Sectaurs. This is pop back up, available again for the Sectaurs. And I do want to say a lot about this, but if I don't get to it because there's so much, just want to give you a heads up. Walmart.com is the only place that you will be able to get this night fighting Dargon. No, he doesn't have Parafly with the wings and all that kind of stuff, but there's a whole lot more to talk about this. Try to squeeze the rest of that in. Also, there's going to be pre-orders up for this Batmobile, so I'll try to talk about that just a little bit more, but want to give a heads up to those of you who want this, because this might sell out fast. I don't know. And then we have some previews from G.I. Joe. Now, I'm going to talk about John Wardon getting fired, and my thoughts on that, why I think he was one of the ones that was on the list. But also, Emily had a very passive-aggressive thing to say. And, I'm going to let her say it because, so good job there. And then we've got this, it's more of the NECA Ben Cooper costumes, and they're interesting. It's cool. And some people absolutely love this. So definitely going to be covering some of that. There's some Star Wars news, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff in the middle coming up. Alright, starting out what's going on at Show Z Store. This is the Mastermind Creations PS24 Ocular Max Insertus Groove, and when I saw this, I just jumped on it, thought it was X-Transbots, pre-ordered it, and then I was like, oh wait, that was actually MMC's. Thing is though, I like the MMC one, and so I am going to go ahead and get it in. I'm going to take a look at it, but I also still need to get probably the youth version of the X-Transbots when it comes out. This is $105, and it looks excellent. I think they've done a pretty good job on it. I also want to say that this week, they're saying that Yellow Park AMK Pro Series, the G1 Starscream assembled kit, pre-assembled kit, is coming in. It looks fantastic. So I did pay for mine, so I should be getting that one pretty soon to go ahead and take a look at. Transart, with their BWMO6 Tyrannosaurus Metal Megatron, is coming into stock. So if you want to pick that one up, or you pre-ordered it, $115, and I think it's a great figure overall. So I was over at TF Source, and I noticed that they had a price for the New Age Romulus, $150, $159, and so $150 for the standard, $159 for the EX, and this is the Studio Series / more like in line with Earthrise, so it's a little on the short side for the Commander class Optimus to go up against it, but does turn into a real looking Walther P-38. But I went to Show Z Store, theirs is $105, so much bigger price difference. With the prices all showing up and all that, this thing should be coming out relatively soon. Be pretty exciting. Alright, so we got some pictures of the next bot coming with the Magic Square Bruticus. This is the MSO4 Munition or Swindle, and I think he looks pretty good. Bot mode looks really good. I mean, we got some other modes to look at, but I think most people are going to be doing the combined. But I really think you can do this in every mode. I think every mode in this set looks really good, and here's the alt mode. It's a nice looking Jeep. It looks good. And pretty much what I remember from the Legends. There are some slight difference and variation. I just can't tell you from looking at the pictures what they are. Won't be able to really tell until I get it in hand. And I probably won't even remember because it's been a while since I've transformed the Legends one. And then the leg. And there's the leg. So I think it looks overall really good where we're at so far. And I am curious because I really didn't find exactly the height of the combined height. Yeah, still listed as unknown on the height of the combined height, or even the figure itself. But looking pretty good, pretty excited. It should be, with all these pictures, I'm pretty sure it should be coming pretty soon, probably by the end of the year. One company that always has some news is the fans hobby. This is the MB32 prototype in gray color robot mode with weapons and shell on parts. So looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. I'm personally not in on this, and like I've covered it in past videos, I think it's really amazing that we have a company like Fansite making these figures that are a bit on the obscure side. They're not as mainstream as like Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Hound, and all of that. So that's pretty cool, and people seem to like them. Fan Hobby's doing a TFCon Baltimore 2024 exclusive called the MB-18A Obsidian Commander, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's a repaint, but not bad, not bad. Let's see what other stuff it does here. Here it is, kind of in its smaller components, and this little housing thing that they had going on before, but it's all recolored into black. Sort of kind of gets that Nemesis look going on to it. I want to tell you that when I saw this picture here of the alt modes, that I was thinking, this feels like Vehicle Voltron a little bit. Just a little bit. Not 100%, but a little bit. But still, kind of cool, kind of interesting, and it's going to be an exclusive if you're interested. I think they're just remaking all of these MPG train bots in different colors and renaming them and calling them something else, but this is the Yamabuki, and it's the MP03 train bot. It's a redeco of the 03 train bot. This is the 08 Yamabuki. In-hand images. I do know there was a GoBot, and it was actually Machine Robo, and I'm going to try to say the name, but there's a GoBot that looks almost just like this. Of course, the colors are a little bit different, but it's Shinkansen Robo. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I throw that in there. And there's what it's going to look like in combined mode. It looks like a left leg. So I'm curious, has anybody got this set, and do you like it? Is it good? I'm just curious, because I haven't really heard anybody say positive stuff about it, except for the trains look amazing. Alright, so we got a picture of a Devastator coming from Super 7. Possible reactions Diaclone Devastator incoming. I have to tell you that I don't know Diaclone colors, so I would love if we could get just some sort of a regular Devastator Diaclone colors, but I think this line is the best for those kinds of things, those Diaclone recolors that you're not really going to break the bank to buy it. You can have it in your collection. It's not going to take up a lot of space. But on the other hand, I think people might go all out and get a full-on, I don't know, there's Devastator Wars going on right now. Wouldn't it be fun to get different color variations from each company instead of 4 green ones? And for some Legends news, and there's not a lot of Legends news, so I'm just talking about this. Robot Toys RTD01 Transformers Beast Wars Lord Ventagon Scorponok. Now, I actually had a picture of this, and I was going to talk about it during my last Beast Wars review. I was reviewing the recolor of Megatron, but I just forgot to talk about it. So anyway, I figured let's just throw that to the news, and there it is. It looks pretty cool. It's a pretty good looking design, and nobody else is doing Beast Wars in the Legends scale currently right now, until, you know, someone else does. That is Robot Toys that is making this. All right, getting on to some Hasbro stuff, and I think I'm going to save all my thoughts about Hasbro and John Wardon till the end of this, and then transition into G.I. Joe. But this Bombshell Ramhorn 2-pack, I don't remember seeing the package, and if I did, and even if I showed it, I just didn't realize that I think it's kind of interesting that they're doing it where half of it is an Autobot color scheme, and then the other half is Decepticon. That is a really cool idea. It's pretty interesting. It's something different, and I think it's cool. And that's that. Will I pick it up for 30? Is it 35 or 50? At 35, I'm on the fence. At 50, I'm a no. But anyway, it still looks pretty cool, and it's out for retail right now in Canada. Why did they get it first? All right, we got pictures of the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Ape Link. Yeah, it looks as it should. Looks pretty good overall, and there's the accessories it comes with, and here he is in his ape mode, and yeah, there it is. That's pretty cool looking. It's pretty interesting looking. I'm probably going to pass on this, but some people are really excited for it, so that's cool. All right, we got some reveals, sort of, I guess, pipeline reveals. Is that what they're going to call these? MCM Comic-Con is happening now, and certainly brought us a lot of Transformers reveals that we weren't expecting. And anyhow, this is Jazz, which looks a lot like, exactly like Studio Series that we already got. So let's move on. Then this one here, and I'm guessing this is Q, Dark of the Moon Deluxe Q, if that's right. Once they, I don't know. I'm not as into the Bayverse and knowing what's what. This, I believe, is the War for Cybertron Voyager Ironhide. So that's the design. Now, he definitely lost some weight for War for Cybertron. Not drinking enough Energon pellets. So, and then I guess this is Dark of the Moon. Is this Shockwave? I mean, I'm just reading down what it says. I don't 100% know. But anyway, I'll tell you why they don't have a lot of stuff. When it gets to Joe, I'll tell you why they don't have all their Joe stuff. It's very funny. Well, not really. It's more ironic than funny. Okay, so via eBay user PokeTechnic999 on TFW 2005, this is the Studio Series 86 31 liter class Galvatron. This is a very slight repaint of what they've already put out, what's been sitting on shelves for years. And it is what it is. I was hoping for a picture next to the other version, the original version, or the original couple of versions they put out. But he didn't have that in there, which is fine. It's fine, but that's kind of what I was wanting to see. Still, it looks cool. It's a great figure. I mean, I'm going to go on there and say, it's a great figure. They did a great job with it, but it's just seeing the same thing over and over and over, when you can still get one of these off eBay for pretty cheap too. So it kind of blows my mind. At the same time, it doesn't, because they're just looking, how can we get something out as cheap, as little bit of work, and just get something out. That's what they're doing here. And they think just because it's a bigger name character is going to sell, but it actually was stagnant. It went to clearance a lot at retail before, so why would this be a big seller? I don't know. But it is a good looking figure. And if you're into any of this stuff, though, I mean, don't let me talk you out of it or anything. Just, if you like it, you can pre-order all this stuff right now. So it's up for pre-order. We're live on the 22nd. So this Omega Supreme went up for pre-order a few days ago, and the 21st, so that's more than a few days. Anyway, I went ahead and went to BBTS and pre-ordered one for my son, because he really wants one. And he missed the boat back when they were first released, and then reissued, and then reissued. Now this is a reissue or something along those lines. Still, it's $200, but it's not going to be out until September 2025. I really thought I was going to be able to get it for him. I thought I was going to luck out and get it for him for Christmas or something, but definitely not going to happen. Maybe I'll hold on to it for Christmas of 2025, but anyhow, if you're wanting this and you're willing to wait till almost a year, then pre-order it. And November 1st, TFCon Baltimore. So next week we'll have a lot of TFCon stuff to talk about. We'll probably have half of it, because they do stuff on Sunday too that I won't be able to put together in time for Sunday news. But if there's too much that goes on after I film and put all my stuff together, I will do a Monday follow-up. So no big deal there. But I expect a lot of stuff happening here. Hopefully we're not let down with the third-party panel. All right, so this past Wednesday, Hasbro laid off over 100 people, and it included John Wardon, who's been around for 25 years. This has caused quite a buzz in the community. A lot of people are really upset and disappointed, and this is the same thing they did last year. Well, last year it was in the thousands, and truly it could end up being in the thousands again, because of the fact that they start small and build up. But right before Christmas, laying off John Wardon, and it bites them in the butt here in a bit. But this just really does suck. I'll let him speak.
I think we all were kind of blindsided. What was really hard about it, I think, was that we all kind of love our company.
CEO Chris Cox citing operational streamlining as the reason for the cuts.
Yeah, that's same old. They're down in sales everywhere except, well, Wizard of the Coast was up, and then Transformers was up 5%. They're down 15% in revenue, but they still made 300 and something million. But it's you want to talk about greedy corporations. It's not even just that. It's really poor foresight going forward. But I could talk all day about this. He was probably making too much money, and they were just looking at numbers and who makes the most. Let's get rid of them, and let's bring in some intern making $25,000 a year or something like that. That's probably the decision-making, the poor decision-making that they were doing. So I'm going to play Emily here, basically passive-aggressively saying something about this. And it's very factual. She's she's not really saying anything she shouldn't, but it's funny how bad decisions bite them in the rear. And, on some level, Emily has to be worried about her job. Like, seeing all these people get let go, and I'm not just talking about her. Everyone that's working there is probably worried about their job. I'm sure it affects performance, but let's see if I hope I got loud enough here.
Sorry. So thank you all for being here. So just as a heads up, so we do have reveals that will be in the panel today, but we do not have them physically here in the booth with us. So just as kind of a caveat, so we recently made some organizational changes at Hasbro. So there are several team members that are no longer with us. Unfortunately, the models were not able to make it to the event. So with that in mind, I am going to do my very best. So thank you for sticking with me. That's right. We're excited, right?
So they fired people that were supposed to bring the models to show at this London event. So they're just sitting there with a blank table. How ridiculous is that? And to go one step further, aside from the digital renders, which are just what they are, digital renders, the figures they plan to have in hand, they didn't even do a photo shoot for. They didn't do a full-on photo shoot to even show decent pictures. It's insane. So anyway, we got Blowtorch here. Now, I think that Blowtorch looks good. He is a bit on the stylized side, bit on the modernized take to him, but I think he's okay. I mean, I'm not wondering at all. I know when they do a retro of him, he's going to get the yellow hoses and all of that, but in reality, I understand the direction they went with this. Also, still sticking with the green in the weapons makes me start to wonder if they're like, we might not do a retro of this. But then again, Hasbro absolutely loves repaints and just put the same figure out again. And we'll see that in this. I mean, we're going to see that here, the repaints. But Blowtorch looks pretty good. This is Nemesis Immortal. And I'm just going to tell you my honest opinion. If it hurts your feelings, I apologize. But I think it looks terrible. It's not for me. It's not what I would want out of a Nemesis Immortal. In fact, if it turns out to be like a Pulse exclusive, then I don't know. I don't know if I'm re-upping my Pulse. I've expired for almost a month now. Haven't ordered anything from Pulse, so I'm not sure if I'll re-up that at all. But there is... I like the little accessory with Cobra Commander in there. That looks kind of cool, but this picture is like all they got, and they plan to have it in hand. They think they'll have it tomorrow. Whether they're going to overnight it or something for Sunday. Anyway, here we go with this is a digital render reveal of the Frag Viper, and I'm going to go out on this. Now, I'm the guy that always wants everything to look super retro, just like it did back in the day. I do say in this case, I like the modernization of it. The old figure was just a little bland for me. It really was. It was kind of bland. I don't know exactly about the sash there, and I've got to go pull my old figure. I never had this as a kid. I just recently acquired one, and I'll be using that in my Retro Wednesday videos. I think I required 3, but this is definitely a good upgrade. I like what they did here. I mean, just thinking about like the blade being silver because it's made out of metal, right? And the old toy is just all cast in black, so that's different. The way the hose is, it's similar yet way different. So there's just a lot of cool stuff to this. I'm wondering if that backpack is all frags that come out, they're removable versus just etched in. So there's so much cool stuff with this Frag Viper that versus the original one. Then we've got Heavy Duty here, and I believe, yeah, I do see that. I do see his eyepiece, that piece on the vintage figure that always breaks off or is missing, the lens, is a scope, is a targeting scope kind of thing. Anyway, it does look a lot like what you'd expect. It's just heavy duty equipment here, and it's okay. I'm not really super tied to the figure, but I think the figure itself looks really good, and then the equipment looks like what you'd expect, but it does feel a little bit different. Still pretty cool, and of course this is just not the greatest picture in the world. And then pretty much no picture at all. Retro Collection Flint. I'm wondering though, is Flint like a figure that's hard to get? If Flint's easy to get, and he already looked pretty retro, I just don't... We saw that with Lady J. Lady J was pretty easy to get, and she looked pretty retro already. Very little differences between the two. and she just clogged pegs. I don't know if Flint's going to do that, or if he's just someone people would love to have two of. I don't know, but I'm just not excited about Flint because I feel like they nailed it the first go around. That's the way I feel. And then we're going to see a retro CoverGirl, which I think CoverGirl was one that probably I just didn't see her a lot. She's probably still available on BBTS or something, but retro version of her, I think the hair color was the situation, so they're going to rectify the hair color in the retro, so that's pretty cool too. And of course, I do love the card backs though. And then retro collection Televiper, which if you didn't take part in the Trouble Bubbles for $25 or however, $35 or $25, however cheap they got, then you probably do need to get a Televiper if you didn't get Trouble Bubble, but still pretty cool. And BBTS picked up a bunch of Trouble Bubbles. It was supposed to be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Sold out for the longest time now. It's on BBTS, so I thought that was weird also. So a whole bunch of weird stuff happening these days with this line, but I think the G.I. Joe Classified line is one of the biggest lines going these days. All right, I'm going to try to put these stories that I don't want to forget about next. So, Walmart exclusive, the Nacelle, Sectaurs, and as I spoke before, you don't get the Parafly. I believe that's the name. I have to go look that up. Just doing all from memory. The Bug, it's kind of an orangish insect that clips on his back as a backpack, and it has wings. You can get a vintage one. Very few of them have the wings, and you're looking at $50 or so to get one with good wings. But this doesn't have that, and it really, really takes away from the effect. And I actually think it's literally missing all of the other accessories. I don't know. I still ordered one anyway because I could just put accessories for my vintage on it just for fun, see how all that worked. But it isn't on a way. It's a bit of a fail if it doesn't have at least the same accessories as the original. So they're packing in version 1 accessories with a version 2 repaint, but not giving version 2 accessories. It's a strange kind of situation. But it's a super shiny paint job, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Now, I did see one of these for sale, so I saw the actual one on eBay. It does look pretty shiny on that eBay listing. So, anyhow, if you're in on this, get it. Now, the other fact about this that I'm a little irritated about is the fact that I paid $40 for Dargon at BBTS. This exact same one's put on Walmart, the standard one, for $25. So does that mean all of the Sectaurs going forward are going to be $25? Or am I still going to have to pay $40 at some places? Also, I noticed the Bikermeister $30 instead of $35 at Walmart. Do I have to wait for everything to show up at Walmart and get it? Will my pre-order ever come in? It seems like maybe the exclusives actually show up. Will it even show up? Alright, so Hiya Toys is making... Is this how... Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a leather face pretty woman mask. So if you know about this, it's $25. It is in the 3.75 inch scale. It is available for order at Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store. If you're in on this, they call this the Exquisite Miniseries. One, I think, just like their G.I. Joes. I actually have a Beachhead I got to find time to review that's in their Exquisite Miniseries. So their first Joe that I get my hands on. Anyhow, it looks interesting. So this is something NECA's put out. It's called the Gremlins Evolution Set. The evolution of the Gremlin. This is really a cool idea. How you go from Gizmo to Mogwai Stripe to Gremlin Stripe. Really a cool idea to put it all in one box. And, that's awesome. It's priced at $60. So you're actually getting a little bit of a savings per figure. I mean, 60 sounds like a lot, but they generally charge, well, more than that per figure. But you're not getting a ton of accessories with it. Alright, so we got some Mayx figures here. This is Michael Jordan from the Chicago Bulls with their home jersey. Then we got Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and X-Men Jubilee comic version available for pre-order. And my curiosity was price. The Jubilee is $110. The Jordan is $110. Then the Shazam is a $115 for whatever reason. Anyway, they all look great. I don't know if I operate for buying 6-inch figures. I'm used to being about $25 to $30 for $110, but a lot of people are. I feel like I've talked about this a lot already, but these Jack-specific Simpsons 5-inch Series 2 figures are up for pre-order. They're now up for pre-order at Entertainment Earth and I'm pretty sure they're up at BBTS. And I've been finding them in the wild real easy. And I just want to talk for a second about this. This is the fun in collecting. When you can go buy a $13 figure and you find it relatively easy, and it's satisfying because there's several to collect. And 13's a great price point. They're not huge. They're 5-inch figures. But for me, I'm not a super huge Simpsons fan. But the fact that these are made well and they look good, I'm really pleased with the line. So I'm collecting. It's not like a huge financial burden for 3 figures every few months for $13 a piece. Alright, so we've got Mondo teasing their Real Ghostbusters 1/12 Sam Hain figure. And pre-order should be opening soon. I really think that I might actually be in on this. I've been back and forth on the Ghostbusters. I'm not a huge Ghostbusters fan. I'm not getting the Ecto one. I'm not going to back to HasLab. Not that it's bad or it's a great offering. It's just it's not for me. I don't need it. And I've already got 3 different versions of Ecto one. I don't need a 4th. But this is going to be $202 for a 2-pack, and I'm not. This one's gonna be packed with. Is this with Venkman? And then the other one's gonna be Egon and the Boogeyman. And the point is here, it's the only way to get the ghosts, to get the $200 2-pack, and it seems like a waste of time just recollecting the same figures, the main characters again, without catching those ghosts. Busting the ghosts. All right, we got some NECA Ben Cooper style costumes. More of these. I'm getting tired of talking for a little bit, so I'll let Evelyn. Evelyn, can you take care of this?
Sure, might go take a break. These all-new costumed figures include Nosferatu's Count Orlok, House of 1,000 Corpses Captain Spaulding, Thanksgiving's John Carver, Trick or Treat Sam, and Krampus.
Thanks. That was a mouthful. I just didn't want to spit out. Anyway, they do look good. Okay, so pre-orders are up on this Batman and Robin movie, Batmobile, coming November 1st. They're not going to be here till November 1st, so that's still a ways away. So that's going to be during TFCon. And it's cool, and I think it lights up and all that cool stuff, but it goes live at noon. I'm not 100% sure how sought after this is going to be, how fast it sells out. I'm not buying it. I do not care about it. But I'm curious how quickly it sells out. I'm actually, it's kind of the weird things I like to, like, does it last for a long time? Or a lot of people like me, and like, I don't need that. So we'll see November 1st, or if it lasts till like the 3rd or 5th or 8th. It'll be interesting to see. That Superman, though, that looks amazing. It's like a Clark Kent. There's like a Christopher Reeve Superman. Yeah, I guess they're all Clark Kents, right? You guys knew it was going to eventually come down to this, right? It's going to come down to Star Wars news. So there is actually some news. This is SH Figuarts, and it's a 6-inch-ish figure. And they're just sort of teasing it in a way. A Ben Kenobi, very classic original trilogy look with soft goods. Looks amazing. Fantastic. I know there's a couple fun things about SH Figuarts. Number one, they're a little bit smaller than the Black Series. Black Series seems to be dead, but it's weird. I think SH Figuarts and all of these other sort of boutique designer ones still do well because evidently they know how to service the market properly. But this looks good, and I think it's going to sell well. And it's always over $100, right? And then we're going to look at this thing. So here's the interesting part. This is actually made by Hasbro. So it is a Hasbro product. It's got Disney all over it. It says Hasbro on it. And I thought Disney was going around the outside and railroading Hasbro, but evidently it is Hasbro. So there it is. This speeder bike is from The Mandalorian, and it's a weird looking speeder bike, but it is what it is, a low price point budget toy line for kids that still doesn't sell very well, but it's there. It's an option. So this is a follow-up shot of everything that they had talked about at New York Comic Con, I guess, but just saying that this stuff's now up for pre-order if you're interested in any of this stuff. Feel like we covered it all last week, but I'm starting to wonder about the Skeleton Crew figure in the bottom left. For whatever reason, I thought he was Black Series, but he is a Vintage Collection, which is kind of cool. And I think Vintage Collection is thriving, and it could do very well. But I heard a rumor they're only allowed to do 6 new sculpts in Vintage Collection in 2025. Now, I'm going to count the new sculpts as they come out and see if that was just a rumor, but with all the cutbacks and the weird things Hasbro's doing, it sounds to me like we're going to see a lot of reissues. And reissues, they help, but they also hurt. So it's a double-edged sword, because people like me are like, I don't need that reissue. And then I wait for Ross or Ollie's. I call it Raleigh's. But anyhow, this is some stuff I pre-order. Alright, first off, we have Ahsoka's grandma. No, this is Shakti. Never mind, it's Shakti. She's Jedi. And Star Wars Attack of the Clones, Star Wars Black Series. I don't think it's a bad selection. I don't think it's a bad figure. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. I'm just not super excited about it. But I feel the same. Luminaria, a good figure, a good character. It's from the prequels. The prequels, I gotta tell you, even at the height of what was going on with the toy community, when they were putting out some of these other ones, they didn't sell well. The prequel Black Series Jedi weren't selling well. Plo Koon, and it was a Kayanamundi or something like that, or one of those. Plo Koon and another one. They didn't sell well. They just were stagnant until, obviously years later they finally sold out. But I'm curious what the demand is for these. But they just never made them before, so it's pretty cool. I think they're good selections. I think they're good looking figures, and we'll see how they go. So this is a picture courtesy of Twin Suns Collecting, and it's RS Singh. And like I said, I think Vintage Collection will thrive if they put the money behind it. And look at that smile on that guy back there, like, yeah, I still got my job. Yeah, you can tell us what he's thinking. This is not Lieutenant Dan, it's Lieutenant Callahan, and it's another one. It's from the Ahsoka series. This is one I think will be a peg warmer. I don't think people will be after this one too heavy, but I just kind of feel like the Ahsoka series was merchandising death. Because everything from the Ahsoka series that they made that I saw it on clearance. I saw it forever, then I saw it on clearance, and it went away. But then again, that might still be overproduction. They didn't course correct fast enough for the massive drop in demand. That might be it. But we'll see what happens with this one. As for the character, I watched the series. I don't even barely remember her, so I don't really care. So it's like, doesn't feel like a necessary release for me, but I might be wrong. So anyways, another week, a lot of stuff going on. I'm curious what you guys think about everything. What else did I miss? Was there some cool stuff going on that I didn't point out? Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, and Titanium Hanger out.